Welcome back to Cablevision's Meet the Leaders. Our guest today is Suffolk County Legislator Lou DiMauro. Legislator DiMauro, you're in the middle of shaping the 2009 operating budget for Suffolk County, and you've got a number of tough budget choices to make. Give me your thinking going into this budget debate and discussion as to how you're looking at 2009 and the year after that.
Mm-hmm. Well, as everyone knows, all your viewers know, it's a very difficult economic time that we're living through nationally right now. I am on the working group that is working on the budget that was proposed by the county executive. What we're trying to do is set some priorities. There is definitely not enough revenue to go around anymore. We cannot fund everything that we funded in the past, and I think everyone has come to that realization. So what we're asking now is what should be the priorities. You know, we're looking at daycare facilities to police in our neighborhoods, setting going back to the real core government functions. What services does government need to provide, and that's where we're going to fund first. It's a very difficult time because even mid-year, earlier this year, we were facing a $130 million gap in our budget just for 2008
And
alone.
that came from, what, a decline in sales tax revenues?
That's correct. As the economy weakens, Suffolk County is highly dependent on sales tax revenue. Consumers need to go out, they need to buy things and generate that revenue for Suffolk County.
But you also collect money from property taxes. How is that source of revenue? How much money do you collect from property taxes versus sales tax?
The amount collected from the property tax is, relatively speaking, negligible to what comes in sales tax. You're looking at a property tax levy countywide of about $51 million.
Now, we have a chart that I want to ask our producer to put up, which shows a typical property tax bill. Mm-hmm. And in that, you'll see that the county portion of the property tax is relatively small as compared to school taxes.
That's correct. If you're a homeowner and you pay property taxes, about 68%, I believe, or 66% of that is going to your local school district to help fund those operations. Only about 12 or 13% is going to your county to help fund operations.
And that's the blue section of that pie.
That's correct, and you can see it there. And then, of course, the towns are involved, and fire districts and other special taxing districts. So that really extrapolates out on your tax bill to maybe a couple of $100s to Suffolk County, as opposed to the thousands that are going into the school district. But nonetheless, it is 13% of your tax bill, and we have to be fiscally responsible in difficult economic times, just like every other level of government.
Now, the county's overall operating budget is how much?
The operating budget is projected at about $2.6 billion.
$2.6 billion.
That's correct, yeah.
And that comes from a variety of sources.
Right. State aid would be a portion of that. The bulk of it comes from our sales tax. Some of it, as we saw on the chart here, comes from our real property taxes. That's correct. So there are different sources of revenue into that budget, all of which are diminishing. You have, unfortunately, higher defaults on property tax payments coming into the county as people are struggling to meet their mortgages. You have declining sales tax as consumers cannot purchase like they used to. State aid, as we all know, the state is having the same budget crisis we are on the local level. Those funds are drying up, and I think coming into maybe next month, we're going to have more problems with state aid.
So as you're thinking about the budget decisions you'll be making for 2009, right, you've got to be hearing what all the leading economists are saying. And that is that this recession is going to be like an L in the sense that we're going to go down, and we're going to go down pretty quickly, mm-hmm, and then it's going to level off, and then it'll start going up, but slowly in terms of economic activity.
Right. The projection I'm hearing, the consensus that I'm aware of, is that at the tail end of 2009, we may start to see an increase in revenue coming back into the county through our sales tax. But getting through the period between then and now is of crisis proportions. So I've been doing as much as I can to try and set those priorities, go back to those core functions, and even in individual votes in the legislature, I've been voting against some bonding issues to save some interest. Just like a consumer in their house, when times get bad and your revenue, the money coming into the household is less, you're going to cut back on your debt. Well, we should be doing the same thing in Suffolk County. So there's a lot of things we can do.
So let's talk about the proposed budget that the county executive has put before you.
Sure.
And there are some things that he has done to hold down taxes. One is that he eliminated hundreds of vacant positions that aren't going to be funded. The second is that he has moved Suffolk County Police off the LIE and Sunrise Highway and redeployed those police officers into the precincts instead of hiring additional police. And the third is that he has proposed that the county nursing home be closed and have a private operator take that over.
You're right, and to his credit, he has submitted a proposed budget to us on the legislature that has a zero property tax increase in both the police district and the general fund. So that's his perspective on the budget. The cost-saving measures, I'll take first eliminating the vacant positions. That was really done earlier this year when, with cooperation with the legislature, we did an early retirement program. So no one got a pink slip. We weren't laying off. We said, if you want to voluntarily retire early, we'll give you some incentive. The trade-off, though, is that we get to eliminate that vacant position and not have to fund it going into 2009.